$500.
Is it all those other mice?
When you total that, both out the EMA and her 911, it was 4.
We got them in Ohio too.
Okay, let's all stand and get the meeting started. And Dusty Souders is going to lead us in the pledge, and then Owen's going to lead us in prayer.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pray with me. Heavenly Father, as we come before you today, Father, we come laying at your feet those things that we need to work on today, Father, that we do so in such a manner that you find it pleasing, and that we serve the people of this county, Washington County, in any way would be pleasing to you. And Father, just now as we go into this time, Father, we want to be thoughtful of the new year and what the new year is going to bring, and pray that this will be a good year for the county, and we can do some good things to help our community. And Father, just be with those in need today as you know their struggles, and Father, in all things, because just in your name that we pray. For your Son's name we pray. Amen.
Kind of hesitation. Mark went to check on a question we had, but we need to bring up to the council first thing as far as who will be president, vice president, and then we need to select our legal counsel for this year. So we could, as our assistant here advises, we could go ahead and do the legal counsel. So entertain a motion for.
Make a motion to retain Mark as Mark Clark as our legal counsel.
Motion made and retain Mark Clark. David, Randy second. Any further questions on it?
I nominate him.
No, wait, we got to do vote.
We gotta have a vote.
Vote by acclamation or whatever, for Mark Clark as our legal counsel. So if we vote, unanimous. Okay, we'll go ahead. No telling when he'll be back, so we can go ahead for our position of president for 2012. So the floor is open for nomination for president.
I nominate Ed Williams, Chairman.
I second.
Okay. Okay, any other nominations? Entertain a motion to close the nomination?
Make a motion to close the nomination.
So, no further discussion, all in favor of closing nominations? All right. Who seconded that, Randy?
I'll be seconding the closing.
I'll second close.
Closing.
No, I didn't second the close.
Okay.
This is nomination.
Okay, so, I guess we vote, no question about voting, unanimous.
Are we voting?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So motion, okay.
Dave and Randy and Dave, I should say.
And Doss, Randy and Doss.
President.
That's what we're doing, yeah, being president. When you got back in, I don't know how you did it.
Lucky.
Our useful system members suggested moving first. So for me, Dave.
Tell me you couldn't get out of it.
Get out of it.
Too late now.
Neither are you advising? No, not yet.
Oh.
They go Brad, Vice, let's go with Vice Chairman.
So it was unanimous on the.
Yeah. Vice Chairman, forward over for Vice Chairman. That's the reason I'm here today, because I'll forward the email.
I nominate David Horn.
Okay, nomination made, Vice for David Dawson. There's a second for that. John seconds it. Further nominations?
Make a motion that nominations be closed.
Okay. Motion second. Second for that, Ben. Record here.
Okay.
And it's a rough bunch. Okay, Ben? That's it, ain't it?
That's it.
No president?
You have the money.
I can shut me up, but I wouldn't hurt to take it. If you want to take it, I get it back.
Sling the name tag.
Slip on the agenda. Okay. Do I get to? Do I have a motion to accept the minutes as written?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Second, any discussion on the minutes? If not, we'll vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, we got the minutes behind us. We have, do we want to do that?
Let's go ahead and
Resolution or
do that.
something?
Let's go ahead and
Okay.
Do we need to approve the calendar?
I mean, the county calendar, Commissioner said the county calendar, you need to probably approve at some point before you meet. Should we prefer to meet on the first Monday? You can choose whenever you want to meet, but it's the holidays and stuff.
Well, since Dave's brought that up, let's just take that in order right now, if you don't mind. We want to accept the calendar or establish the day that we want to meet. We want to retain the first Monday of the month.
I'll make a motion that we retain it first Monday, except when there's a holiday in the,
So keep it as is.
as listed here, I think.
Okay.
I second that.
Got a second from Dave. Any discussion on that? If not, put it to vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Okay. Okay. And we're gonna take this in parts. This one is for the sheriff's increases, or to correct that amendment, the salary ordinance. What we have,
This is to extend the loan,
oh, to extend the loan.
yeah, from the jail fund.
Okay. All right. We have a resolution number 2012-01. Resolution is to transfer funds and extend the loan. 911 had borrowed some money, and what was that particular fund that we borrowed?
Jail, key cap.
From the jail fund, cumulative jail fund, to the enhanced 911 fund, and to repay December 30th, 2008. We're going to extend that, this resolution,
To the end of this year.
to the end of this year.
The amount is 36,500.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, an amount of $36,500.
They're supposedly waiting for some money to be distributed from the state of Indiana.
And that's the
Apply to that.
primary cause that we didn't clean this
That's
loan
what
up
he said
in the
last
year.
meeting,
So-
yes.
So do we have a motion to extend or to accept the resolution? It's written.
I'll make a motion.
We have a second.
I'll second.
Any discussion on the resolution?
I'm gonna make one comment. Just happened since our last meeting, we had discussed this, knowing the need for the county because of history, I guess. Things change, and that's what's happening to us here with who's getting money off of what for 911. And I have seen at least 5 senators or representatives, and each county that they represent pretty well is in the same position we're in on needing extra money. And I feel that there will be something done in the legislature this coming session. And so it looks like it will happen. And as we all realize that it's something that's
due to those landlines, we've been losing funding for the enhanced 911, and cell phone money's just not enough to make up the difference that we're losing as far as what we would have picked up on the landline. So we had a motion and a second, and now we're at a vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay. Is that something we need to sign?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, what else we gonna have
And the salary amounts.
there? Okay, and this is, kind of goes back, right? Is this the one for the sheriff?
Yeah.
Yeah, due to, now was this due to,
Prosecutor.
Prosecutor, the
Received a
state?
raise, yeah.
Okay, prosecutor received a raise, and the sheriff gets a raise also based on, what is it, Mark?
60%.
Percent of that, so it's something
By
we.
statute.
By statute, so it's something we need to do, not something we have a choice in doing, so, do I have a motion on the floor to amend the salary ordinance?
In essence, for the public, the sheriff's salary is based on a percentage of the prosecutor's salary. The prosecutor is paid by the state. When the state decides they're gonna raise the salaries of judges and prosecutors, they do it. They don't bother asking anybody else how it's gonna affect them. And then it just trickles down that, okay, by statute, because the sheriff is a percentage of the judges, the sheriffs in essence get a raise, even though the council may say, $500 raises or $250 bonuses or anything we do, it doesn't matter, it's just set by statute, so it's something that really we lose control of when the state decides that they're gonna increase the salaries of prosecutors and judges together.
Do we have a motion?
How much is it gonna increase? You know,
Salary amount was $38,184.
increase?
No, that's not the increase, that's what it
That'd
is,
be
too.
just amount.
Yeah, we don't really have the percent.
Well, you have, look in your own, in the budget you approved for this year, under any elected office holder. and he-
Because this wasn't included in the budget we passed,
That's correct.
so we were gonna add whatever amount to the budget.
Mandatory. You'll have a hard time figuring out what the sheriff gets paid anyway.
Okay.
Well,
That's it. No, they don't. There's a
that
lot
was
of.
all, that was part of all that. That's part of loss protection.
There's a lot of.
Back in
It
90
was
days.
74,400, and now it's 76,368.
So,
368, so 76, you said, about $2,000,
Yeah.
approximately $2,000. Questions? That answers the question. We have a motion?
No, we did we already?
yeah,
No,
yeah,
I'll make
he
a
asked
motion.
a question about what it increased it.
Got a second?
No, sir.
Yeah. Any further discussion that already took place? If not, let's vote. Raise your right hand if you agree. Okay, it's unanimous. What else we got there, Michelle? Okay. Yeah.
Just right out, so.
Okay. All right. I guess I'll just throw this out here. Last meeting, we talked about this part-time deal. So we need to do any further discussion on this part-time or venue ordinance, any way on that? Has anybody got any thoughts on that this morning, or is that something this table?
I can bring it up, or the council will do what the will is. When we, motion is made to give a $500 raise and a $250 bonus for, what's that word, Michelle? Not part, for the council and commissioners, part-time, considered, but it's for, just for the council and commissioners. And that, so that was cut, $100 each 6 months if we're in the black. And, so I didn't know if it was the will of the council to, leave that, just kind of slipped through and didn't really realize it. So, do we want to bring that back up rather than cut that for the council commissioners or let it ride? So, it's up for motion.
And what kind of happened there, I believe it was the last meeting, the council and the commissioners rescinded any of the pay raises that was caught up in the last salary ordinance that we had done. But the part-time deal was really, this bonus was not discussed in the last session.
I just make the recommendation, and I'll make it as a motion to go ahead and keep the bonus the same as what the county employees is, that we would be able to, because, you know, we are working with the budget as much as possible as what the heads and the employees as far as trying to get everything into the black. Whenever I first brought up the $500 salary ordinance, you know, for on the payroll, I looked at it as a catch-up a little bit to get back up to having our base salary, you know, enhanced up for cost of living. Of course, when I took this job, I took it as an elected official. I didn't even know what this position even paid. Really don't care either. You know, if we're doing this more of a community service. But in retrospect on the bonus in there, I would put it in the same reflection as what it is for the rest of the county employees, minus what we did for the pay raise that we did. We already did that at the previous. So instead of it being a $350 that like it had been in the past, I think we're in a whole new era with this, with the way we've done the salary ordinance for the employees. So I would have it mirror, the bonus to be mirrored to what the new salary ordinance and bonus program is for the current county employees now. So I would, instead of being $350, if it reflects the $250 is what with the county employees in this current year, then that's what our reflection should be. So.
And you made that in form of a motion?
I make that in form of a motion to drop it from the $350 to $250 to reflect what the county salary ordinance is now.
Do I have a second on that motion? So I guess at this time the motion dies and things stay as it is.
Nobody else makes any other motions.
No motion. That's it. So it stays as was in the last,
Well,
I'm just confused.
he's
Got
saying
confused.
that 250 is done, right?
That's what I said. Is
yeah, his motion was to maintain
The
us
county
just as
employees,
is, as regular county
full-time
employees.
employees will get
Yes.
$500 raise.
Plus their $250 bonus,
if
if
we're-
earned.
If we're in.
Yeah. And his motion was that the part-time, basically being the commissioners and the council, would also enjoy that $250 bonus if it come to fruition. If it come to that, that was his motion that we
Right.
maintain that.
Yes.
And he made it in form of motion, so do we have a second on that, or did we let that
I
die?
guess the question comes in, if it dies for lack of a second, then where we at?
Get back to
It'd
it.
be right back
Back
where
to-
he suggested.
Unless there's another motion brought up before.
Right.
I'll make a motion that we, I just hate the cutting, but it's where I'm coming from. I'll make a motion that we raise that to 350, where it was in 2011.
Now, the county employees are not going
No,
to.
no, that's just, doesn't have a thing to do with.
Okay, so you're looking at just doing that for
Really, it's just
the
the council
part-time.
commission. Yeah. According to Michelle, that's part-time.
We have that motion, and if I understand the motion is to have a $350 bonus twice a year if
If we're in the black,
qualifies,
yeah.
if we're in the black. Do I have a second on that motion?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a second. All those in favor of that motion, Raise your right hand if you agree. So,
You'll have to vote. You'll have to vote.
I am voting. I am voting.
Three.
Those opposed?
Will be 3-3.
You need to ask, well,
I'm
maybe somebody
going-
may abstain, I mean, you need to
Yeah.
ask who, those
Okay.
opposed.
Yeah, those opposed. I'm going,
Ask it.
I'm going to
Ask those opposed.
ask those opposed. Those, who would oppose?
You voted for it. Oh, I'm sorry, you voted for it.
It was,
Oh,
we had 3-3.
okay, so you're opposed,
I'm opposed.
okay. So it not
This time. So it dies. So it stays as it was in the
Yeah.
last one. Okay, Michelle, are we down to those appointments? Oh, several appointments we need to make this morning, and some of them may not be possible to make, but you've got the list here. So I'm just going to take these one at a time, and we'll work them one at a time this morning, if that's the will of the council to do so. Anybody have any? We'll just take them one time. First one's going to be the ABC board. There's an opening there. Betty Starr passed away, and I don't know if we're in a position today or not to make a recommendation to fill that obligation. Anybody got any recommendations there on that one?
I think that these open positions, we don't have a recommendation, when it needs to be open to the public, that we know those positions, anybody has any interest to be getting hold of the auditor's office.
Marcia, pick up on that.
do you wanna, do you wanna do that? Do you want Sarah to do that? We probably ought to say who they need to call and leave their name.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sarah?
Sarah, do you, okay,
So
so.
you want to handle that
Yeah.
then?
Yeah, that's
Who's
fine.
in the
They
auditor's
call, I'll
office,
take
have
care
them
of
call
it.
and ask to speak to Sarah.
Do we want a deadline?
Well, it needs to be
Well,
before
the
our next
deadline
meeting.
before the next meeting, we'd obviously want at least maybe a week before the meeting, just so we can follow this and we have an opportunity to see who those folks might be.
Look like
So
the 20
January 23rd,
Third,
30th?
yeah. 23rd is the last full month, yeah, that's the Monday. Or you could go the 27th, that's the Friday before.
On the
You
27th.
still have another full week yet?
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
No, that's the Friday before that full week.
Okay.
so let's go with the 27th then, Michelle.
So, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, County Redevelopment Commission, there's two openings to be filled there. Those openings are filled right now by Scott Nail and Mark Manship. Anybody have any thoughts on those appointments?
In the past, I know Mr. Nail has been desirous to maintain that position.
I think he acts as the president.
I think so.
At this time, wasn't he?
I'll make a motion. Reappoint.
We have marked those two, Scott Nail and Mark Manship. Do I have a second on that motion?
I second.
Okay, all those in favor, raise your right hand. Unanimous. Next appointments would be Public Defender Board. Those two positions right
No,
now.
we don't, I pulled the ordinances on those, we don't appoint anybody on the public
Okay.
defender board. The
Okay.
commissioners appoint one, and the
Okay.
two judges appoint two.
So that answers that question.
That is that.
Okay, and next appointment would be River Hills, for River Hills to represent the council there. That's presently held by myself. Anybody got any thoughts on the River Hills appointment?
Reappoint you.
All those in favor, raise your right hand. Yes, sir. Glad to do that. Okay, we got Peter Boa Board. Josh Anderson's fulfilling that obligation right now. Property tax appeals board there. Any thoughts on that particular appointment?
I'll move to reappoint Josh.
Do I have a second on that motion?
Second.
Got a second to Dave Moore. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Unanimous. Solid Waste Management. We have David Hoare representing us right now.
Anybody got any thoughts on solid waste?
I nominate David Horn.
I'll second.
Any discussion on that, David? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Unanimous? Okay, Plan Commission, we need to make an appointment there this morning. That also, position is enjoyed by David Hoare.
I'm gonna abstain from the vote on that too.
I'll make a motion to reappoint David.
Okay, we had a motion. Did we have a second? Was you making a motion, John? And do we have a second on that motion? Second over here. All those in favor, raise your right hand with David abstaining. It's four, we got Nelson. Urban and China. Okay. And I don't know if we're gonna be prepared, but I want to discuss this personnel policy.
But did you,
Oh, I do
our
want to
discussion,
mention.
please move
Right.
Yes, in fact, yes. I want to bring up that on our park board, we've had one individual, Mignon Marshall, who is, due to some personal reasons, has resigned from that board at this time. And I don't know if we're prepared this morning to name a person.
has she given you a resignation?
She hasn't given me a written
She-
resignation.
Apparently, Merwin, she's told Merwin.
Yeah.
I don't know that anybody's received anything.
No, I don't, she didn't say she'd send anything, which I should have probably told her that. Send a little letter tomorrow.
Well, we can't do nothing till we hear from him.
Yeah, well, we could, but I thought that would kind of come under Dave's motion that if a new seat, that we wait till next meeting.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we probably need to try to get a hold of her to send us a letter.
Yeah, we-
But it
Right,
anticipates
right.
that we're gonna have an open seat
We
there.
would really need
Could
a
I say
resignation
something?
in written form. I
Yeah.
I'd
think.
like to see you guys take your time and not just the first person walk and go, okay.
Well, that's what
job.
May even
Take your
interview.
time.
That's good.
Yeah, but I would like to comment, Mr. Chairman, on what Magnon told me. She really hated to get off the board, but her and Marvin are going to Florida and be there like 4 months.
Till April.
And she
You
just
feel
didn't
like
feel
she-
it was right, justified for her being gone that long. But she wanted to commend the board and commend our new manager out there, Jerome. And she said they's all really doing a good job working together.
I've talked with a couple of people. I haven't had anybody, any takers.
Well, that'll fall under his motion, they just call August office if they're interested. Then they have to come in and possibly talk.
Do we know how to get a hold of Mignon?
I've got her cell
No,
phone.
that's Mark.
Yeah, they've left.
I've got her cell phone.
Do you, well, if you give that to me, I'll call her and ask her to go ahead and just handwrite out a letter of resignation, send it out to me.
I think to help the council as much as any one thing is to have the board members to have some input on this also. Instead of us just reaching out here getting some.
Well, and first, another thing too, we want somebody that is willing to serve, not
Right.
just up with a name and not asking.
Well, I think anybody who wants to serve on board, number one, needs to have the accountability and responsibility to show up to the meetings. And I realize you can't make every meeting due to certain things, but people who serve on these boards certainly need to be active on those boards and participate.
Right.
And that's one of the things when anybody's in discussion that we need to encourage them, that is part of the service as far as that goes, and to stay tuned in with what's going on and be knowledgeable about what that board is all about, what it is doing. So those are some of the things we need to ensure that when we're looking or seeking people to fill these obligations, if you will. Do you have anything else on your deal that we need to discuss? What else we have? wanna enlighten us a little bit on that, what we might need to do there, John?
Well, you're gonna have to appoint, I think, somebody, I think it's at least one person from the council has to serve on that board. And
From the council.
From the council.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't, let me call.
I was gonna say,
Let
you
me
may
call.
call Tom.
It was one
Yeah.
from the council, one from the commissioner, a judge, me, somebody else.
But they're actually from the group.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're from the council,
Okay.
yes. A
All right.
council member
All right.
serves on the board.
I think that's basically all we're doing.
So is that something we can do today, or is that something we
It's
can
gonna be
do?
one of you guys. Poor Mark, let's take Mark with it.
We have to call.
But it's gotta be I mean, that's the issue, it's gotta be a council member.
Do we need to make a
I'll make a
motion
motion.
to,
I'll make a motion, Randall.
got a second on that motion?
I'll second.
Any discussion on that motion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. It appears to be unanimous. So Randall becomes that individual. So we got all those commitments filled except those ones that we were unable to today, Michelle?
Yep.
See if anything else, is anybody else on the council, I'll just kind of go around the horn here, see if anybody, if there's any issues we need to bring up this morning. Dave, I'll start with yourself.
Well, I'm just looking through here on a monthly financial statement. Of course, we had made the comment last month that we have different, our money's come in from the state in different timetables and all. We had county employees that were a little bit disgruntled or disappointed that they didn't get the bonus, but it was said that we were going to be on the black at the end of our November deadline, as if we were in black. Is that right? 11/31 off of the.
There is not a set, I mean, the wording is prior to me depositing the December settlement. So if I don't do December settlement if I don't deposit that check until December 30th, whatever we are, December 29th. I mean, it's just prior to me getting that done and depositing that check.
All right. You know, I don't know, in the last few years, everybody made the comment that the employees have been able to do that. Of course, we knew that this budget was gonna be a little tighter than it did, and it come up to that point. I didn't know if there was any way or review that we need to be more specific on that date that we do that, or if we leave it as an open gauge like that.
It's all based basically on when we will receive settlement. I mean, you can set a date, November the 30th, but that doesn't mean we're gonna be in the black
Well,
that day.
you know, it's not for us to gauge whether we're gonna be in the black, we're hoping to be there, but I didn't know, you know, understanding that this money that we receive from the state, we've got to run till April with, so it goes into the next year,
Right.
you know, so that gives it an unfair balance, you know, whenever we look that we did good being in the black, if we take that disbursement, that's the reason that we kept it before that December, you know, deposit on it.
I mean, if you put a date on there, then I get a little more concerned that basically you have, I start to wonder whether it's a required payment or not, quite frankly.
Well, I don't wanna set up a false target.
Yeah, well, I know that practically, but, I mean, legally, that, I get a little more concerned about.
Well, I just
Are
wanted to
we
bring it
legally-
open for discussion in there, because it,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, it's always worked the way it's.
Yeah, I don't see any reason to
I don't
change
either.
it. Or just like Michelle says. In other words, you don't even count what we're gonna get.
No, now, because you end up, if you set this, a date at the end of the year, you've got to set a date for the middle of the year too. So,
I mean, it's
Just
prior to
complicated
those
things.
settlement checks being deposited.
right.
It doesn't count.
I mean, I know they got it the 2-3 times prior to this. It did not work out this time.
But when we do the budget, I know there's lines that we pay, there's X amount of, and help me out, Sarah.
Wait, okay, well,
Since
Yeah,
you're
but she's
sitting
not
there.
gonna have it.
But there's X amount of money built into this budget for bonuses, or is the money for the bonuses based off of the fact that everybody takes their budget, each department takes their budget, and that's working within the general fund, and then that magic day, whatever that magic day is, if everybody has spent their money wisely, you know, and bills come in and bills go out, and there's no, you can hold this back and not pay it, just to play a game. But if there's a savings shown, and that's the only where I see the money coming from is in your budget, that every line item in the budget, if X amount of money is showed in those items at the end of that time period, whatever that time frame is, if we're in the black because we have been frugal and wise with the money, then it'll show in the black by theory. Is that a correct statement or assumption? Can somebody tear a hole in that one?
yes, it can be, but it's also all based on what we receive from the state also. If we do not get county general, or I mean people, the departments can hold off on their spending as much as they want, or I mean, you know, be brutal and not spend anything and hold off and be very conservative. But that doesn't mean when it's time for us to do settlement that that's going to be in the black because people just held off, because it all based on the money
If the
coming
cash-
in from the
cash
property
flows.
taxes and the receipts that we get from the state and everything.
And from just the few comments I've heard, I think that, I was approached, because I'm around a lot, I was approached by some people, by some employees of the county, and they said, Mark, what big item hit that took our bonus away? And I went to Michelle and talked to her, and I think that's kind of the problem that they look at is they can all be within their budgets and still not get the bonus. Because it's not only just property tax, it's how much are we getting in edit taxes? How much are we getting in
The gadget and
gadget
stuff that
taxes?
comes in.
And that's a
All
direct
revenue
employment scenario.
streams that go into the
That's
general
right,
fund
yeah,
would have an
see,
impact
that's
on
a,
that.
that's a direct employment problem, and, you know, I've thought for years that our edit and gadget taxes ought to be down more than they really are, because we know what unemployment is. But for some reason, the state keeps giving us money, but, I mean, I think from the county employee and maybe department head viewpoint, it's like, well, we've stayed in our budget. We're even, 20% below our budget. What do you mean we're not gonna get the bonus? Well, you're not gonna get the bonus. I mean, it's not maybe as tied, and I'm not saying you change it now by any stretch of imagination, but maybe that is what you wanna look at. Maybe somehow you wanna look at tying it more towards budgets than you simply tie it to fund balances. Because again, if the county employees don't have any control, I'm gonna say directly, over fund balances. I mean, isn't that fair to say 90% of the time, Michelle, or Sarah?
Well, your property tax-based funds, no.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I don't wanna go spending like drunken sailors,
Well,
but I mean, that's, they only can control what's their budget. And yeah, some office holder's gonna look at his employees and say, okay, I really want you guys to get your bonus this year. We're gonna spend 20% less than budget. They, Michelle may look at them at the dates and say, sorry, we're in the red $250,000, and the next draw isn't gonna give us but $100,000. We're not getting the budget.
No doubt.
Bonus.
What was
Private sector,
Don't disagree, yeah.
because you, as an employee, you're not gonna know directly, how much funding there is at a certain
Yeah.
time, and it's your company. Your company makes well, why you may have a bonus, and if they don't, well, you won't.
We make a budget, but this is on paper. This isn't, we don't know for sure what's coming in.
say the one
Did it
thing
get
about
in,
it.
did it get in the black in December? Will it get-
Once
Well,
after.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it's
Once you
settlement.
put the settlement in,
Yeah, once it's
it did.
What date was that?
Not right off the top of your
It's about second week in
Seems
When
like
is
it
that
was
first?
the second.
I think it's on the second week of December.
And that's, and I understand, I mean, I think that's the frustration here of the employees, is that.
Well, I think
but
it's something
for
that really needs to be reviewed.
Yeah,
I think it needs to be reviewed, because even if you do what you're saying, Mark, as far as doing it fund-based and what have you, here's the reality, it's hard to write a check if the revenues haven't flowed in to write the check, have the money in the bank to cover the check we wrote, but there needs to be something that if you're gonna hang a carrot out there, that carrot needs to be something that is achievable if you do what's asked of you to do, you know? And I don't know what those things are. I've been baffled a little bit this past year by how this works. You know, I know we got the date here, we got the date there, and, you know, closing, but it's still just kind of a tough deal if you're working to receive something and doing your part, and then you don't receive it, and you didn't have any part in, or what you was doing, you soon quit losing the incentive to do what you were doing, because it won't make any difference. So I think that's something we really need to set out in the future, when we go into next year's budget and those kind of things, take a look. We physically don't do anything in a line item that we're saying we're setting this cash aside for bonuses. I mean, I know we have the line item for longevity and those other things that gets money thrown in for that, but there's nothing specifically I know of that's thrown in for a bonus.
Yeah,
I mean, we
Yeah,
have a line
we-
item that.
yeah.
And it's in that
We
same.
budget for the bonus.
Okay, so we budget for that, so,
Yeah.
okay, all right. Then I think we totally need to rethink what we're doing then. I think we need to come back and take a look at what triggers and how it gets triggered, and not something we're gonna do today. But I'm gonna say, before next year, we need to have reviewed and what have you.
Can you not say if you're in the black by the last claims date?
I don't know, that, I wouldn't speculate, I know how some things work in a business.
Yep.
Here you go, this, you go.
If you got-
Yeah.
you got-
Let's go with that.
you got right-
Right, yeah.
You're right in between, Dave.
I'm right in between you guys.
I mean,
Not
I
like
know
business.
everybody will hold off paying the claims, because they're gonna
Understand. That's what I'm
say,
saying.
I want the money, so we're not gonna turn in no
I
claims for this
understand.
month.
I understand how that works, like I said.
I mean,
That's what I meant about the false target, you know?
Yeah,
We
that's
want a
kind of,
realistic target of what actually the business or the government, our government is actually
Right.
doing.
And I think the concern you have, I mean, hearing all your discussions is just like what you say. The council for years got in the position of banking on money coming in and going ahead and writing checks. You now prefer to be where you have the money before you write the check.
Yeah, Dawson and I are
Do you like
very well.
Keynesian economics or non-Keynesian economics? That's kind of where you're at.
Well, then we have to remember too, we approved a $500 raise. There's
Well, this is.
That's for 2012.
Right. But there's 65,000 extra money, demand for money that's gonna be coming out for this year.
And that's one of the reasons I went for the pay raise over the bonus deal, was the fact that you had a tangible and not so much if this happened or that happened that you have no control over it. Say whatever you want to say about what triggers it, what don't trigger it, but that's what works. Okay,
I got two other things.
okay.
Okay?
Mhm.
On lines 1176 and 1179, on our monthly financial statements, no, 1176 and 1169. In there, we have balances at the ending cash balance for the end of the year, correct? Of those, are there bills to go against those?
I'm sure there is, I haven't, it's not time for them to turn them in to me yet to cover, so I can't
So
swear
this
to it. but
motor vehicle highway, that would be basically asphalt.
That's highway operations, not
Operations,
just
just
asphalt.
operations.
That is paying the guys, that is repair to the trucks, that is salt. Gerald, help me out here.
So
I mean, that's.
it's showing a 363 balance in there from the the 2011 budget. Okay. All right, so that hasn't been encumbered, or there is no outstanding bills?
Not to me yet, but they have until January 20th to turn it in.
Okay, so that January 20th, okay. That answers that question there on that. And the same thing with local road and street. All right, now my next question is, part non-reverting operating, we've talked, we had discussion of this, what we were gonna do with that. I'm gonna open up for discussion again at a public forum. Right now, we have $141,022.56 in the negative on line 1179. And then we also have a negative balance on 1219 of 55,726.86. We've had discussion in this before of trying to set this up into a loan type of process and take this out as a negative figure on these financial statements. Knowing that State Board of Accounts is not going to like that too well, but we are also wanting to set up kind of a business plan. You know, not only for us, but also for the park board, so that they don't have this thing looming every time that these figures come out of these figures being there. I want to try to get this put into a plan, you know, to address it one way or the other. Either as a loan with no interest for a certain amount of time, as that they've got a goal to try to come about with this type of money, which is substantial, and that's too much. For me, I think there's going to have to be a day of reckoning where this county will have to absorb some of that, because that's a $200,000 negative in there with a park budget that has revenue of just about $220,000 a year, right?
I think what we got to do there, we kind of, in past meetings, spoke of this, and when we do this, those monies has got to come from somewhere. You know, we've got to look at where those monies are gonna come from. We talked about edit monies, if we decide to use that. If we do, we know that amount of money's gonna come out, you know, at one time, be dedicated for that. I don't know if we've come up, Mark, with a simple way of breaking this down into bite size, and if we did, it's almost like we'd have to leave X amount of this on that line item. How would that work? If we decided to, what would we do there, outside of just appropriating monies from someplace else, moving money from something else to cover this, so it panned out properly on the financials?
Well, if you're gonna do it as a loan, you've gotta determine where you're gonna loan those money, borrow those monies from. Now, you can do it as a loan, just like you did the resolution today. No matter what you do, that is, by statute, that is supposed to be paid back in the calendar year in which you pass that loan resolution. In the past, we did that. We set up the loan scenario, knowing that in reality, the Board of Accounts was probably going to write us as a statement that you didn't get it all paid back. And the council said, yes, auditor, we understand that's in your report, and that's because we're doing it, we recognize we're doing it in 25 chunks, $25,000 chunks back in the prior situation which we did this in. If you, and you can do it that way. The problem, the issue there is you're going to have to find where in those funds you're going to borrow that money from. Now, if we do it in the edit, if we use the particular edit monies, I don't think we write it up as a resolution of borrowing money. What we do is we go in and we amend, and I'm looking at John, because he's the commissioner. The commissioners go in and amend their edit plan. And again, the question to some degree, based on what Dave Ford just said, do you say we're going to pay it back? Do you say we're simply going to use our edit monies in this manner? The commissioners will have to decide whether that's a proper use of edit monies. edit monies for economic development income tax. Justice sitting back there, the partnership tells us, I think lots of study, the Community Foundation talks about quality of life, you know, you go out and you try to sell an employer with 250 people or 100 people or 1,000 people come, you sell them the quality of life, so, you know, you show them a park, you show them the schools, you show them the hospitals, you show them all sorts of things. So, you know, if commissioners decide, yeah, that's a proper expense of edit money, I think you can probably make that argument. If you write it into the edit plan, then again, I don't believe it is a payback scenario. It is basically just, we're gonna spend our edit dollars this way, and you write it out to do it. And now, do you do that in one big chunk? Do you do it over time? Again, you can write your plan, we're probably gonna get written, and again, we've got as a council, if somebody, if it's involving edit dollars, the commissioners, I think we have to look at the auditor and say, you know, we know that red mark is gonna come in the report, and that's just the way we're doing it. We can look at the auditor and say, you know, respectfully, we understand you're gonna give us the write-up, but, you know, we've at least bit the bullet, we've got the plan, and this is how we're gonna do it. And in 3 years, 2 years, 4 years, you won't be writing this up for that. And hopefully they'll take that and go, you know. So, that's, I think those are kind of your two options. It's the least, it's simply which way you want to do it. I started last month trying to draft the resolution for borrowing, and that's, I talked to Michelle, and then that's kind of where she and I got into the discussion of where we're gonna do it, and depending on where you take the funds out of, really decides the method in which you're gonna do it. Are you gonna pass a resolution for a loan, or are you gonna do it out of edit? If you do it out of edit, then really we've gotta go in front of the commissioners and ask them to amend their plan.
What about the riverboat money?
If you, you know, to me, if you use it out of riverboat money, it's a
To me, that would just be
degree
simple,
about.
wouldn't be a loan, it
It
would
wouldn't
be
be a loan. Again, do you want to take it all in one chunk? Do you want to pass a resolution saying you're going to do it over some amount of time? But yes, you know, whether you wanted to make that as a quote loan or not, it would really be up to the council, I think.
Well, I think another one is relayed back to Lester as being president of the park board, and that there's a balance on accumulated park recreational, 4915 line of 144,871.26. You have utilized that fund quite a bit. You know, as far as what you can do, I would challenge park board to try to, you know, work as much of your expenses to that accumulated as you can. You know, because you do have a very good policy balance there to work with. I mean, I'm trying to put a business plan together as far as, you know, thinking about here while we've gone on the budget, and then also what you physically have got to do for an operating in there. Trying to come up with county government and with the park board with some type of a goal and conclusion and a goal to be grasping for out here. I mean, we've got some money that's allocated off for this bypass, you know, right away and stuff like that. We're probably going to end up with some balance left over after we pay for that. You know, when we pull it out of the pockets and put a game plan together, I'd like to have some, you know, input from the park board. You know, some of their plans for this year, you know, especially into doing some park enhancements and stuff like that, and maybe utilizing this accumulated to make a positive impact on the park. That's all I've got.
You got something? Go ahead. Michelle, what, taking $500,000 out of 927 on the riverboat, what other obligations have we got already?
John said around 220, that's counting the roof.
Oh, wait a minute,
That's
220,
not in
but,
that, is it?
220, but then how much did we take out of, Keene's Cap for the roof? 30?
There's 90 in cap now.
Didn't we take 30 out?
We haven't paid, actually hasn't been anything paid on the roof yet.
but I think we thought, but we're.
So I am going to encumber that money. So. I was sick all of that.
I forgot about the money we were taking out of Cume, there was like 30.
Yeah, but I'm not counting Cume Cap unless
No.
you're gonna.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
he's
I-
talking riverboat only.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And right now they got 500 for the bypass.
and then I'm going
And
to
then you
encumber the
said about
150.
220 for the route, you said.
Yeah, but it won't be 220 because there's 30 coming out of Cume Cap.
Okay.
Well, it's only 150 that was appropriated for the roof out of Riverboat anyway, so that's all that I can encumber,
What about
is
these-
the 150.
What about John Hopkins
So you got
engineering fee?
right now.
He hasn't turned in a bill, I've been paying that out of Cume Cap.
Okay.
So you got 500,000, you got 650,000. You just said you got 150 encumbered, so you got 650 out of Riverboat right now. Calculate. Now, is there any more than that 150 coming out of there for the roof?
150 plus the extra 32 for the.
So,
The other
And
part.
that'll come out of riverboat?
Yeah, we gotta decide.
you got to find it somewhere.
What obligations yet to come out of River Road or have the road name received for sure? What are we looking at?
Well, I think there was some budgeted this year for roads out of Riverboat,
Yeah.
but of course, that's,
It's about 500,000 was for the roof.
Well, when we were talking, it was 220, but he said that some of it's gonna come
Well,
out.
understand.
Yeah, so it's probably gonna be more like 190.
So you take, well, that's what I'm trying to figure. If you take 220 minus 30 out of Cume, you got, that's 190, and then you've already encumbered 150. You're 40,000 short on Riverboat.
No,
You're 40,000 short on the roof. From what you just told me. You've encumbered 150, you've got 30 you're planning on taking out of Cume Cap. Your amount was 220, so your $40,000 you're gonna have to find somewhere to cover that, the rest of that 220.
You'll still have 60,000 in that Cume Cap.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but you gotta use that for others.
but you got, yeah.
you got,
Aren't you, this is the end of 12/31, but how much more has got in Cume Cap for last year's budget? You're at 90,000, this is 12/31's report.
That's what was left in the fund.
Right.
And that's what it's for repairs, right?
Yeah, so, but you don't know what repairs is
You don't
gonna
know
come
what
up
repairs.
through the
That's what
year.
that boiler broke in, guys, $60,000 and get a touch of boiler.
It doesn't go into next year's,
And at this point, we gotta pay for the roof.
You don't have
That's
next
not.
year's budget, you need a boiler now. This year's budget. Okay.
We gotta pay for the
No,
roof.
you
That's
don't.
already
I said
got.
it.
If it blows, if it blows.
We'll worry about that when that happens, right now, we gotta pay for the roof.
So when do we get our first draw that's gonna go into Cume Cap?
We won't have another now until June.
June.
No, I'm not believing.
How much longer goes in?
Say, the question is, is what the roof is, they got 150,000 covered, they're going to take 30,000 out of the cap. 60, 20, 20,000 minus the 150,000 out of Riverboat, minus 30,000 out of the Cume Cap, that leaves 40,000, they've got to find somewhere. I don't know if it's gonna come through the boat, what they're gonna do. Well, I would think.
It'll have to come from the boat. It'll have to come from the
I mean, that
riverboat.
looks like a big number right there on that.
So from Riverboat, you're gonna take nearly about 190,000 for the roof.
Yeah.
John raises a good question. Okay, pretty good figure here in Cume Park. Now, let's see. Cume Park has to go to
Few park has to be used for
Park, you can't
infrastructure.
That's the figure I was,
tax rate.
that-
That has to go for
that's
Let's
just
go for
what I
park.
discussed with
Capital
Russ.
improvements at the park.
capital
Yeah.
improvements.
You can't do that and have a.
Just can't pay anything out
If
of
we
it.
do that, we'd wipe out his number with
Yeah,
that.
you know,
Here's just a note worthy,
You can't touch that, that's all park stuff.
a note worthy of mention. Michelle, where's those numbers on Riverboat? Riverboat funds in 2009 to the county was $1,037,000. 2010, we received 447, maybe 448,000. 2010 Riverboat, we received 4,015. Guys, it's not gonna be any better in 2012. You got a bridge shut down. They're willing to pay $1 million to get the bridge in hand so they can get back to making money, no profit, no share with Washington County. So we can't look at this Riverboat fund just like it's out there and going to just keep replenishing itself, because there's gonna be some diminishing funding take place there this year unless that bridge gets built and everybody that's starved to gamble rushes over there in the last 9 months of the year. They really build up the coffers for them.
Your first
So
quarter, you know.
we need to really think about where it's gonna come from and sit down and see how we're gonna be able to work this out where it works and we can cover the cost of doing the county's business there. How was that?
Yeah. The county's business.
Independence, and then
Okay.
the Kentucky legislature, the people. And they're gonna go for it too. They're gonna go for it. So there's some things that we need to think ahead about as far as the kind of monies that's gonna be coming into our county. Can't say that's fact, I'm just gonna say there's things happening out there, there's a dynamic out there that's gonna change maybe how we receive some
First quarter,
funds.
there's not gonna be anything great.
No.
For that amount.
Continue on, John, you got anything? Randy?
No, I highly agree with what you said there, because it's undoubtedly, it's going to go down, and it may go down tremendously this time.
Well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna, I mean, it's, I think, to some degree, Dave's saying, you know, he wants to pull a plan. Do you want to appoint, I hate appointing committees, but do you want to appoint somebody from commissioner, you can't appoint a commissioner, but have John take back that one of the commissioners, one of the council members, one of the park members sit down and try to come up with this plan? I mean, that's,
Well, one of my first avenues of approach was going to be to sit down with Sarah and Michelle and see where the money is all,
do it that way.
is all dedicated, where it's all appropriated, what is out there. If it's all covered and, you know, we need to look where the money's gonna come from. And that would be my first approach, is to ask some.
Well, I have a suggestion.
Okay.
That maybe look at first, let's get the smaller one paid off first, which is the park.
The 55?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get that paid off and zeroed out first. And then maybe look at what we can
And
do
the
with the
non-reverting?
non-revoting.
Okay. Because the other one's
That
not
would be
getting
my
funded at all. It's just constantly sitting out there. I think you got a point there, sir.
Because the non-revoting is gonna be there no matter what. You're gonna get money in, you're gonna spend, you're gonna, while the park one, that's gonna sit there, I mean, because there's no money whatsoever, it's gonna get rid of that.
We increase that tax rate back again.
Right.
And if you want to sit down with him and do that, and come back next meeting, that'd be fine.
I think that's the approach to take right now, see where the money, for the potential for the money to come from, that's not going to be jeopardizing something else out there. So I think that's, if nobody has any problem with that here on the council, if they see that as a viable approach, then look for consensus to just go ahead and do that.
I mean, we could see 6 months down the road what the Riverboat is doing at that time. And if it's doing good, we're getting more than what we expected, then maybe go and say, well, okay, maybe we can give more money for the
And-
non-revoting and start helping them.
And that's kind of the approach that I'm looking at is, well, we're gonna have to do some assumptions, and we may even have to talk to Harrison County just a little bit about what they think's going on too, what they might project, or what their projections might be. Dawson, you got anything this morning?
The park has been a thorn in our side for 20 years. And we have really had some tough times in deciding what to do. What we're gonna have to do is clean our act up and live within our means and get on the right track.
And I think Chuck
those rails right now. I think
I
we're
hope we
choking
are.
it. I think we are.
But I
John?
know that, you know, this debt's really bothering Jerome. And we keep hanging this over his head. I'm afraid Jerome's gonna fall off.
Well, we're gonna actively pursue it. I know we've been doing
You
some
know, I would
things.
hate to start a race 10 laps down,
Yeah.
and that's what he did. You know, he's not gonna get any bonus because he's, you know, like the other county employees, if they get a bonus, Jerome's not gonna get one because he's $190,000 in the red. That a debt that he had nothing to do with.
That doesn't work
Or
that
this
way.
park board had
Yeah,
nothing.
he's
That
still
didn't
gets
work that way.
It doesn't work that way.
That work that way, he'll still get that, they all get it, doesn't matter.
based on the
Either everybody
eligibility.
gets it or nobody.
Right. It's not individual, it's not per.
Well,
It's not fair to him.
you know, for one, Jerome trying to manage it, he needs a business plan that he knows what he's working with.
Yeah, what we're gonna do.
Yeah, he really does.
Well, this was his first year, I mean,
Oh, I
there was a lot
know.
of stuff thrown
You
at
know,
Jerome.
and unfortunately, we didn't have any records to work with.
We had nothing to work with. I mean, I think Jerome did an outstanding job for what he had to work with.
Absolutely.
Has he got the computers?
Oh, that's,
We haven't
he's
got
done
him
an
yet.
excellent job, that's what I'm saying.
And
Those
it's not you
numbers
guys.
don't make the statement they make.
Why is it that it happened?
They've been purchased, right?
John would have to tell me that. Commissioner said they
We're
would.
giving them the, yeah.
I thought somebody purchased from Best Buy or something. Where'd I hear that?
Oh, well, that was
That
a
was
plan
thought,
that was gonna be,
But that never happened.
and that never happened. There was some other plans that was gonna be, that never happened, and I don't know what plan we're working on right now. I think we was at a point where there was gonna get some
To my
computers.
understanding, we're gonna go through cyber tech. Commissioners are gonna put the bill, is my understanding.
Well, it'd be nice to have that in place for this fiscal year.
What's the holdup?
I thought Jerome was gonna contact, have them come out there and go ahead and, you know, have him get this thing done. I thought Jerome was gonna get with Dave or Dan from Saturday.
If he has, it's been since the last board meeting.
Because we gave them the approval to do it. I mean, we're waiting on them to just go ahead and, Jerome just needs
Let me
to.
talk out just a little gray area. Why can't these computers be off of this cumulative park recreation fund? Because it's a part of operating, the mechanism to make that park operate.
Good question. Just a suggestion, not trying to tell anybody what to do, just a suggestion. Commissioner meeting tomorrow, and maybe it'd be a good something, John, like I say, just an informal suggestion, and try to tie this in, if it's viable, what Dave just said to do so. I don't know who's heading up the computerization, Rhonda even mentioned something at one time.
Well, I went ahead and sent out, I don't know if Jerome got it or not, but I went ahead and sent out what they need for the store to run it properly and effectively, because I do have experience, of course, in retail and managing huge numbers of small things. And so I went ahead and wrote a report while I was at the mall. Jerome had actually stopped by, and I wrote a report and I emailed it out. I don't know if Jerome got it. I kind of mentioned it during the last commissioner meeting I was at. It's for the holidays, no one wanted to be there, so I don't know if that was effective. Or I even got an Intuit counselor lined up, through my account, and so there's that information is there. You can do it cheaply. You can do it on the cheap side to see if that would actually work. And it wouldn't cost all that much more to go ahead on and add on to it. So I wanted to have the cheap and then be able to add on to it without any more expense than you have to incur in the first place. So that has been sent out. I don't know if anybody got it. No one emailed me back. That's okay. But I still have that same report and I can email it out again.
So is that something, it's just a suggestion, you guys work that out. And
John, that line is 4915, it's community park fund, and there's a balance of 144,871.26.
Lester, you got anything else this evening?
Commissioners have already approved it.
I don't think it's approved that.
Well, I mean, it doesn't bother me as a board member to get written up, but they would
Approve what?
take the computers out.
Well, commissioners have already appropriated the money.
I mean, I'm
Approved
going to
the
pay
money.
it.
Well, like I say, that's
I don't know
something
that they
I think.
will say that that's, I do not know
Am I
that they
correct,
do not
John, that you
believe
guys
that
have
that's a
already
capital
approved the monies
expense.
for the computers? That's already approved.
And all the other funds are
They,
saying.
they have a contract.
Yeah, we had to pay the computers, they
So
thought
it
we
is
had to pay
being
the
moved.
computers out.
They
So
contract.
you don't have to worry about the money for the computers, that's already.
Yeah, that's already been appropriated, oh, I mean, it's already
That's
been,
not for us to worry about.
You
Yeah,
know-
I agree. So like I say, just in a form of suggestion, I don't worry about things. Gonna move on to you, young man. Mr. Woodward, any comments today?
Yes, on the last meeting, I think Mark said something about trying to get a breakdown of the taxes that were left owed. I really can't do that. The only thing, we've tried every way to try to get that done. The best thing we can come up with, we have a breakdown on how much of it's personal property tax, how much of it is for mobile homes, and what the rest of it is. Personal property tax left past due $58,813.08. Delinquent mobile homes, $29,616.73. Leaving $1,302,729.65. And homeowner homes and business buildings.
And so that difference would be, then just plain old real estate
Yeah,
tax.
real estate, yeah.
I mean, basically.
How much was that number again?
$80,000 in personal and mobile homes,
Yeah.
50,
well, yeah,
60,
yeah,
and 20.
Yeah, about 87,000,
About 87,000.
88,000. $1,302,729.65, regular property taxes.
So we're still $1 million over. I mean, not you.
That's as of the end of the year.
Yeah. No one misunderstand, I'm not picking on Bob for any kind of job he's doing. I just- I just-
From past performance, Bob, how much is potentially going to come in?
Basically, it's about the same as last year.
And so last year, those didn't get paid? I mean, we didn't
Well,
collect that,
eventually, yeah.
but it trickles in over
Yes,
time.
yes, it comes in.
Okay.
Something new, I mean, it's not a lot of money, but last year I instituted a fee for mobile home permits. It's probably been brought in $1,500, paying $10 per permit. I do have a company out of Indianapolis that collects the past due personal property taxes, and they've collected well over $300,000.
That's your demands. Yeah, good.
And at what rate do they charge you?
They don't charge us anything. It's a fee added on to
On that?
the taxpayer, yeah.
Okay.
It cost us.
So I didn't think it did.
Yeah. So, we're keeping pretty up to date.
Anything else, Bob?
I've got a list here of the personal property taxes that are due, but it looks like we've got $58,813.08.
Mr. Gerald?
For ones that don't know, Rick had his surgery last night. I got a call about 6:45. And I got another call this morning at 6 o'clock. He just came out, so he's in there all night. They done a bypass, I'm not sure how many. They had worked on a valve while he was in there. He was in recovery then. I'm supposed to get more information today or not. I'll have it for the commissioner meeting tomorrow.
Did they do his lung transplant?
They've done a double, as far as I know, and a bypass, I don't know how many, and a valve, worked on a valve while he was in there. So he was in surgery 10, 11 hours last night. But he was in recovery at 6 o'clock this morning. They was gonna get to see him sometime between 7:30 and 8.
Bob, I see you.
Yeah, Board of Finance will meet January 16th at 2 o'clock here. We will be picking the bank we're going to be using.
It was, sorry.
We will be choosing the bank we're going to be using from the county's funds.
Marcia? You in the back? Sarah?
No.
Rhonda?
Okay, I do have something. I've already spoken with Mr. Clark on this. While I was down at the mall, putting in 15, 20-hour days, I received a letter from Mr. Cyphers, your attorney on the commissioner board. Okay. Basically, telling me that I needed to take down part of Indiana Proud. Okay. It was a letter of intimidation. That's what I see. And no facts were given, no proof. Okay. And from what I can tell, because in the meetings that I attended before I got the letter, nothing was said, nothing was voted on. I don't think that you guys know about it. I talked with Mr. Clark, and I am satisfied that it wasn't brought up in an executive meeting, okay, and voted on illegally. So I'm pretty darn sure that you have no idea about it, okay. So my take on it, and then you have not seen copies of it, all right. My take on it is that Mr. Bills, Randall Bills, councilman that you recognize as a legal councilman in this government, and Jason Cockrell were behind this in that they went ahead and utilized government resources to intimidate a public citizen. That's my take on it. That's why after we received the letter, I had a discussion with my husband and I said, look, I don't want my son up there in these meetings alone. That's why, even though he's as big as a house, he's still my child. That's why we didn't record the two next meetings. Now, we've talked with Mr. Cyphers and said, look, we don't mind putting up any examples that you have of this. The letter's a little bit sharp. You said normally we would just
Wait, don't say you said, because we didn't, to my knowledge, we've not said anything.
Okay.
I think I understand what you're saying.
Okay,
right?
okay, I'm sorry,
No,
I'm sorry.
This council's not said anything, so please don't
Right.
use the
And I
pronoun
don't want you to
you.
say anything while I'm
Okay.
talking, okay, because this is my purpose. The second letter was not, did not provide any examples either. We're going to try to keep it down a little bit, because I am still a little bit upset about it. Okay, so, what I want to do, and and you have not been aware of this letter, you've not seen this letter, have you, Mr. Clark?
I've not seen any letters you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking
You have
about,
no
other than what
idea.
you caught me
No
before
idea.
I came into
Okay.
an open session.
Okay, so what I would like to do is to go ahead, because it represents the county, saying that I need to take down Indiana Proud. That's what my take is on it. Okay? I need you to go ahead and do a little research, get the copies from Mr. Cyphers, to go ahead and see if you actually do want that to happen, and vote on it at the next meeting. I want you to take a month up. I'm not going to put anything up until you have a response to it. I'm going to put the whole shebang up. Okay? So you guys need to decide what you want to do with this. Okay? And that's what I'm trying to put forward, so that you guys actually know what is being done in the name of the county. All right? And so the reason that I put this forward in this meeting was because Mr. Bills is a member of this council. So, whatever you guys want to do, look it over. Let's try to look at it with cool heads, and you guys decide what you would like to do, if anything at all. But it was serious enough for me not to put it up without a response from you. Okay? So, that's all I really have to say. There are other proof things that have gone on that are beneficial, but, there you go. And I will go ahead and say this in the commissioner meeting tomorrow. And so this way, this will give you a chance over the next month to go ahead and look at it and see how serious it is, if it's serious at all.
What are we supposed to be looking at?
No, don't.
Don't say anything.
Don't. You're okay. You're okay. It's okay. we're gonna deal with this, okay? All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, Frank. Now, in response to that, I will tell you, I will contact Mr. Cyphers. I will see what in the world she's talking about, because I've not seen anything about any of this. And if it's something that this council needs to take an action on, I'll advise you of that. If it is something the commissioners, as the executive of the county, need to take an action on, I'll advise you of that and advise Mr. Cyphers of that. So, there we are.
Okay, anything else we need to further discuss today?
Just go to the commissioner.
Who can go for the commissioners meeting tomorrow?
What time is Commissioner?
9 o'clock.
The executive said, hey, you may want to.
8 o'clock. John, are you going?
Yeah.
I thought you sounded right.
I will probably be there. Can.
Also,
I gotta start
Go
work.
to work.
you gotta work. I'll be there tomorrow morning.
Probably the next 2 months.
I did have one question. This is from John.
Question?
I have a friend that, I get those calls all the time. I have a friend that wants to know.
I never thought of this way, but I've always been one that really supported the demands. Because there was money hanging out there that we just didn't get in. There were certain things, or I feel, it sounds like we've done pretty good on that. If I don't pay my property tax, does the treasurer send me anything? But if I don't pay my tax on machinery, do they?
After it goes past due, we have a company that handles that. No, we don't send anything.
All right, what would they do to me then, as far as in reference?
They will hound you until you do bad.
Well, that's what I'm getting at.
There becomes a tax award against you
Well, of
that's
course not.
recorded as a
Right,
judgment.
right. Yeah, as a
Of
judge.
course,
if you go-
eventually it'd be sold for tax sake, my real estate.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting at, is there anything that prods a person along to pay their property?
Yeah, it's no tax sales.
And nothing in between?
No.
That's it.
Yeah, well, there's other things that do, if they ever want to change owners, if they ever want to get a mortgage, they can't get it unless this stuff's paid.
They're locked in.
They can't get an alcohol beverage permit, they can't move a mobile home,
Not supposed
not supposed to move a mobile home, yes.
to.
Legally,
Legally, they're not supposed to.
legally, they could. So there's other tools out there working on the property, personal property, basically, there's not, other than this company I hired out of Minneapolis that takes care of it for them.
But they must do a pretty good
Yes,
job.
they do a real good job.
Okay, just,
They've
So
done a
John,
lot of
Walk
work.
and talk.
okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Make a motion.
No. Oh, to adjourn?
Do we need a motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
A
Second.
second? All in favor? Adjourn. That's it.
Lester, can you